In order to run a fruitful side hustle or small business, you might need to outsource some of your work to freelancers. Not only is this one of the best ways to minimize your workload and increase your own productivity, but it enables your business to scale at a really low cost, especially if you need help in an area that you're not super knowledgeable about. But hiring a freelancer can backfire quickly if you don't go about it the right way. Above all, you need to use the freelance platform that will give you access to the best talent and ideally at the best prices. Few platforms can do this while making it easy to find the freelance help you need, which is why we're breaking down some of the best freelance platforms for 2022. I've personally hired freelancers and worked as a freelancer on many of these platforms, and have finally found the platform that is the absolute best place to employ freelancers. Stay tuned to find out where you should be hiring your next freelancer. Fiverr. Fiverr is one of the best known freelance platforms around, known for its affordable prices. As the name suggests, you can hire freelance talent for prices as low as $5. If you want top quality work, however, you're going to have to pay quite a bit more for the more experienced freelancers that come backed by higher reviews. In fact, in most cases, I've found that prices for good freelance talent on Fiverr are absolutely outrageous. You can get some quick work done for a cheap price if you're not too concerned about quality, but for most businesses, that probably won't cut it. Furthermore, Fiverr is gig-based, and you purchase freelance talent rather than hiring people for your own ongoing jobs. In this way, Fiverr flips the hiring process because you're sifting through candidates to hire based on their posted rates and skills. On most other platforms, you're posting the job you need done and letting the candidates come to you. This means that you'll do a lot of the legwork to find a candidate on Fiverr, and even then, the platform is not great for ongoing communications or tweaks to billings and tasks. You also have to consider the 5.5% fee that Fiverr charges on every gig, which just makes things all the more expensive. And again, when you combine that with the price of talent, the rates for good freelancers can be pretty extreme, making this all around a pretty tough place to find great long-term freelance talent to help you with your business. Upwork. Routinely ranked as one of the top freelance platforms around, Upwork is excellent for any small business or aspiring side hustler. The website is easy to use and has a huge pool of talent, making it one of the top platforms to find freelancers of all kinds. There are currently over 10 million registered freelancers on the platform. Clients are able to rate the quality of each freelancer's work, which helps you determine which freelancers are reliable and best suited for your projects. One of Upwork's best features is its candidate filtering algorithm, so you can fine-tune your results and job postings to ensure you get someone who checks all of your boxes. The tricky part is that after freelancers apply for your job listing, it's up to you to filter through the applications and identify the best candidates for the job. Freelancers are able to submit text, links, documents, and other portfolio materials within their application, but it can be intimidating to sort through if you're just looking for a quick hire. Once you do hire, you can select to pay a flat rate for the project or an hourly rate, giving your freelancer the ability to self-submit the hours they work. After this, it's pretty easy to pay your freelancers, and fees are super low, at least for the client side. Upwork charges business clients 3% of each transaction, although freelancers can expect to pay up to 20% of their earnings to Upwork, making it a little less attractive to come to the platform as a freelancer. If you need help sourcing talent, Upwork also has a number of tiered pricing levels ranging from about $50 to about $500 per month. With these tiers, you get things like dedicated account management and detailed reports delivered right to your inbox. While these are some nice advanced features, most people probably don't need them, and there's no point in paying for something that won't help your business, especially when it comes to small businesses and side hustles. So Upwork is competitive with fees and has a huge pool of freelance talent, but it can be a bit overwhelming to hire there. For the same reason, it's super competitive to find work as a freelancer, and the fees are tough to justify for freelance talent. Guru. Guru is a great freelance platform to find highly experienced workers. That being said, you do pay the price for it. Guru's fees are significantly higher than other platforms, and for some people, that may be worth it. After all, for some projects, it might be worth it to pay higher fees so that you're confident you have an appropriately skilled freelancer for the job. The profiles on Guru are also easier to navigate than on other platforms. This is largely because the rates and feedback scores are much easier to find. It's also nice that you can get quotes from individual freelancers before even pursuing the hiring process. For the most part, Guru works just like other platforms. But one particularly useful addition is the site's workroom feature, which allows clients to add multiple freelancers to a single project. They also make it really easy to manage freelancers, communications, and their payments, which is a process that can be kind of clunky on other platforms. If you're thinking about giving Guru a try, the platform is particularly useful for finding freelancers for tasks like writing, translation, design, and programming. Freelancer.com. Freelancer.com is home to a large pool of freelancers from close to 250 countries around the globe. Unfortunately, it falls short of the talent pool that you can find on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. It's similar in layout to the other freelance sites too. Freelancers can create detailed profiles featuring their skills and qualifications, and anyone can post a project to start advertising gigs for those freelancers. Getting started is pretty easy on the platform. You can find a project similar to your needs and use it as a template to create a job posting of your own. This saves a ton of time and helps you to think of some skills and terms that you might not otherwise have thought of to include in your job posting. And luckily, there's no fees to post a job, so you don't have to pay until you hire a candidate. Unfortunately, Freelancer.com does seem to add fees for every additional feature. Things like featuring your project, hiring a recruiter, or including non-disclosure agreements will add on separate fees that can quickly add up. Overall, this doesn't quite measure up to platforms like Upwork, but it's still a decent place to find good freelance talent. FreeUp. FreeUp is without a doubt my favorite platform for hiring freelancers. They're a bit smaller than some of the other platforms on this list, but they make up for it with an incredible talent pool and a seamless hiring process. FreeUp sets themselves apart by pre-vetting their freelancers. So before anyone can work on the platform, they have to go through a strict interview process that verifies their skills and abilities. This is something that a lot of other platforms lack, because anyone can jump on those platforms and start applying for gigs. In fact, FreeUp says they hire only the top 1% of freelancers, which means they let only 1 out of every 100 applicants onto the website to work as a freelancer. But the best part is the hiring process. On FreeUp, all you have to do is submit a request for a freelancer. You'll include a few details about what you need out of your freelancer and the rate you're looking to pay. Once this happens, FreeUp will identify a handful of freelancers within their talent pool that are best suited for the job. They'll then send these top candidates to you, where you can handpick the freelancer that looks like the best fit. Of course, you're also free to discuss and interview each candidate as much as you'd like. But in my experience, this takes all of the legwork out of finding and hiring freelancers. Because as soon as you put in the request, you know that you're going to get a short list of candidates who are well qualified and reliable. So it's really tough to go wrong on FreeUp, and that makes it really easy to hire with confidence. After hiring, you can set hourly rates for your freelancers and they'll bill it through the platform. FreeUp will charge you for those hours on a weekly basis, and you pay absolutely no fees. The hourly or fixed rate that you set when you hire a freelancer is exactly what you'll pay. So overall, I found that FreeUp makes it incredibly fast and easy to hire freelancers, and their vetting process ensures that your candidates are going to be more than qualified for the needs of your business. We've hired dozens of freelancers on FreeUp, mostly for our Facts vs. YouTube business, and many of those hires have been done in less than 24 hours of requesting a job. Furthermore, they have a ton of highly skilled international talent that charge much lower hourly rates than US-based freelancers. Again, in my experience with the FreeUp talent, they're just as qualified as any US-based freelancer that I've worked with, and I think that's all thanks to FreeUp's vetting process. So while other platforms have some features that make them more appropriate for specific gigs, FreeUp is our go-to site for almost all of the freelance work we need. It's fast, affordable, and you know you're always going to get a qualified candidate. If you want to give FreeUp a try, I'll leave a link to it below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have based on my experience with the platform. For more on how we use freelancers to run our YouTube business, check out this video here for a full breakdown. And we'll see you in the next video.